Hello everyone, welcome to the Roblox Studio series part 3. Thank you so much for watching. So today we'll be talking about networking, right? So let's say it's nothing hard. Basically, networking means how should client script communicate with server script, right? Because they can't communicate with each other like directly. So with that, we have remotes here, right? A remote is basically a bridge between the client and the server. Let's say like this, okay? Basically, this is the client, this is the server, right? Nothing hard. So this is client, this is the server, right? And if you want to communicate, basically, let's say you want to directly communicate, right? This is direct communicate. Basically, you can't do this. No, you can't. Okay, you just cannot. So you might be asking, so how am I supposed to communicate client with server? So basically, the remotes is something like the network, like you can think of it like an API basically. So take this. This is the remote, okay? So this is the remote event or function. Uh, we'll talk about the differences later. And basically, the client goes right. The remote function just basically the server just listens to the remote and just waits for something to happen, right? If it like hears quote unquote, then it will just take whatever the client sent, right? And whatever the client said, and the server is basically taking the arguments. And if you have the server security setup wrong, then it's not good. You gotta make sure the server always checks what the client sent. So basically, if you like sending the, for example, right, you are sending a remote to change team, for example, right? You don't want to like just client will send, for example, right, team name, basically, right, or just the team object. Basically, the server can't just like do uh like it will just take the team name and just set the player's name player's team to the team. The server has to check whether the player has the permission to the team name. If it doesn't, it won't do anything, right? And here we come to the uh difference between event and function. Basically, remote event just listens and just does nothing else. Remote function, on the other hand, listens, receives, and sends back. Which means, if you, for example, have, you know what, we'll show it in the in actual game. So, let's say you have a button, right? So, Milma Screen UI. This is basically the main frame handler for all the UI, and we want like a button, right? Nothing hard. And we'll make a local script because it's in the starter GUI. It's a bit local. So you might be asking, right? I want to communicate with the server script. How do I do that? So you go to replicate storage because it's the shared space for client and server. So you'll go here and you can see remote event, remote function, right? And there is also unreliable remote event, but we'll not be talking about it. Basically, this is mostly for like guns shooting and those. Think of it like UDP, which means like if something goes wrong, it basically just ignores. Okay, that's all you need to know. So let's start with remote event, right? So we're going to replicate it. Storage equals to service and replicate storage, right? We want the remote event, so replicate storage wait for child. Basically, it waits. If this script will load up faster than this, then the wait child ensures that it will just wait until this is here, and it yields, which means that if it's not found, it will be still be waiting. So it's better to like set a timeout and just make sure it exists. So remote event, and we can do script dot parent. Basically script dot parent. Script is basically this, and its parent is screen GUI. So right now we are in the screen GUI, and then we go text button, right? Nothing hard. Then there is a function, basically mouse button one click or mouse button one up, which basically, as you can see, fires when the user releases their left mouse button of the GUI button. Yeah, so we'll do that. Oh, okay, didn't mean to do that. Then we want to connect to function, right? And basically print clicked, right? All we'll do right now, just this, nothing else. As you can see, nothing will print out, and when I click it, it says clicked, right? Nothing hard, pretty simple, right? So we can just disable this one for now. So now, how, you might be asking, okay, well, I have this, so why it's not showing as a server and just as client? So this is where the script comes in play, right? So you'll go here and do the same thing. Basically, you can just copy and paste it, and you go remote event, the on server event. So basically, this is the waiter, right, which waits for the event to be fired. Then you'll connect it, right, with function, whichever you want. In on server event, always the first argument is the player, nothing else, just the player, basically from which client it's being sent from. And after that, there are any arguments which you will like send, but we'll talk about that in another video, because now this is just the first parts, right? So let's just I don't know, print player that named clicked a button, for example, right? And now let's test it. Okay, nothing wrong, and it's still blue. Why? Well, because we just printed, right? We need to actually send the request. So we'll go remote event da double dot fire server, right? No argument whatsoever, just this. Okay, nothing else. Now when we will test it, it will print out twice, and you can see clicked, and shadow phone alert clicked a button, basically because we fired the server, and this got the uh, message like, right, it waited. So basically the client, as you can see, hold on, this client, basically this client is this, went through the remote event, right? And the remote event, the script is waiting, right? So it just connected and just made it, right? And now if you want to return something, right, basically you will do like returned, right, variable, of course. And when you will do returned, you might be asking what will happen. Well, I'll show you what will happen. It returns nil. Why? Basically it didn't return anything, but it says nil because this didn't do anything. Okay, basically this is where the remote function comes in place when you need to return something to the client. Basically you will do remote function, and instead of this, right, we'll do function. Okay, nothing hard. And basically now when we'll do that, okay, my bad, when you are doing function, it's on server in equals to function. Okay, it's like this. Okay, it's a bit different, but this is the, and don't forget to remove the here. So this is basically how on server invoke works, and it's not fire server but invoke server, right? Now what will happen, let's see. And here you can see it returned this something, because it's a remote function, which is two-way communication, not a remote event, which is just one way. Basically, that's all it does, right? And you can also make like it works on a remote function on client invoke, right? Client received, for example, and you can do remote function invoke client. Here you gotta put the player. So, for example, we can do the player added, right? And we can invoke like hello, right? And basically, this is the argument we can just I can just show you how it works. Yeah, okay. Unable to cast because I didn't put the object, which has to be the player, right? So basically, we'll just do this, and this is basically all, right? Client received hello. That's all. Basically, this is the networking, if we say it. Basically, this works like API, for example, right? This is pretty simple, nothing hard. So yeah, this is from remotes, everything I think. So yeah, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video, which will be, well, you'll see. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.